Hello everybody, this is our video number 3 on the same topic, the coal and the petroleums. And in this video, we will start our discussion with two important natural resources. The first one is the petroleum and the second one is the natural gas. So let's start with the petroleum. This petroleum it has many names. The first one is called the rock oil or crude oil, or another name for the petroleum is called the black coal. Because of that, it has the very commercial importance. Okay, and this petroleum is combinations of the various type of hydrocarbons and the liquid organelles, and this petroleum is lighter than the water and insoluble into the water. That is the characteristics of the petroleum, and this petroleum is found in the deeper the earth's surface and or layer that is called the impervious rocks. Okay. After that, the formation of the petroleums. The petroleum is a fossil fuel and formed from the organism living in a sea, and such as zooplankton and algae. A vast quantity of the dead remains of the marine animals and the plants settled at the bottom of the sea and got covered with the sediments. And due to the intense heat and the pressure in the lower regions, the more the layer is settled over the sea bed, and thus the organic matter liquefies and seeps down until it reaches a bed of impervious rock, and this is how the dead organism transforms into the petroleum hydrocarbons. And the petroleum is obtained by the drilling oil wells into the earth crust. And in India, the oil wells are found in the state of Assam. So in India, this type of petroleum oil wells are found in Assam, Gujarat, the offshore of the Mumbai, and the deltas of the Godavari and the Kaveri rivers. Okay, so remember all those names. So the petroleum oil wells are found in India. Is the first one is the Assam, Gujarat, the offshore of the Mumbai, and the deltas of the Krishna and the Kaveri. Sorry, the deltas of the Godavari and the Kaveri rivers. Okay, and the refining of the petroleums. The crude petroleum is mixture about the 200 hydrocarbons, and it contains the useful substance like the petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, paraffin wax, lubricating oil, etc. And the process of separations of the various constituents or the fractions of the petroleum is called the refining of the petroleum. Okay, and it can be done by the fractional distillation. So next sub point is the fractional distillation of petroleum. The fractional distillation of the crude petroleum is done in a troll fractionating column in a petroleum refinery. Okay, and the crude oil is heated to about the 400 centigrade. The oil vaporizes in the distillation tower and cool down, and there are a series of shallow trays in which these vapor get condensed to become liquid. And the fraction which has higher boiling point contains near base, and one having a low boiling point contains in the temporary the topmost tray. The gas which goes out of the column is known as the petroleum gas, and the various fractions obtained by the refining the petroleum and their uses are summarized in the table given below. So, in your book, consider that this table, this one is very important, and so many questions will came into your exam from this table. So read this table very carefully. So this table also contains the three columns. The first one for the serial number, second one the constituent of petroleums, and the third column is uses. The first fractional part or the constituent of the petroleum is the petroleum gas, that is known as the LPG, the liquefied petroleum gas, and use of this gas, the fuel for the home and the industries and in the production of the carbon black. Next one is the petrol. What is the use of the petrol? The fuel in the vehicles like car, scooter, and second one is as a solvent for the dry cleaning cloths. Okay. Third, kerosene. What is the use of the kerosene? As a fuel in with stove, used for the lighting in the Petromax lamp and as a fuel in the jet airplanes. And the fourth one is the diesel, as a fuel for the heavy vehicles like the sink, truck, etc., and the to-run water pump and the generators. That is the use for the of diesel. And the lubricating oil used to the lubricate machinery, and the paraffin wax. Next constituent of petroleum is the paraffin wax, and used for the making candles, wax paper, Vaseline, grease, shoe polish. And the last one, bitumen. It used for the making the road surface and the paint. Okay. The next one is the natural gas. This natural gas is also the fossil fuel, and which is found deep under the earth between the two layers of impervious rocks, either above or the along with petroleum deposits. So this line is very important. So how to find out the natural gas in nature? It is deep. It is found deep under the earth and between the two layers of the impervious rocks, either above or the along with the petroleum deposit, and it contains the mainly methane and small amount of gases like ethane, propane, butane. And it is an efficient and convenient fuel because it does not produce any ash or the smoke on burning. So, the natural gas, the burning of the natural gas does not produce any type of ash or smoke, and that is the reason it is called the very efficient and convenient fuel. It is highly flammable and it is supplied through the pipeline, and the such pipelines exist in Vadodara and some parts of the Delhi. And the natural gas is used for the manufacturing of many chemicals and the fertilizer. And in India, we have the vast reserve of the natural gas in Tripura, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and the Krishna Godavari Delta. Okay? After that, the next subheading is the compressed natural gas, and in short, it is called the CNG. Is the natural gas stored under the high pressure, and it is used as a domestic and industrial fuel and in manufacturing of the carbon black. So it is of the use of the CNG, that means the compressed natural gas, is mainly the domestic purpose and the industrial fuels, and also the making, the manufacturing the carbon black. Okay, it is and the eco-friendly fuel, as it does not emit the harmful gases like the oxides of the nitrogen, oxide of the sulfur, and which pollute the environment. And thus it has been increasingly used as a fuel to run automobiles and the buses. The use of the CNG as a fuel has brought down the pollution level in Delhi. Next, very important topic, that is the consequence of the over-extraction of the coal and the petroleum. So what is the bad effects of extraction of the over-extraction of the petrols and the coal? The fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy, and they take the millions of years to be formed, and although over-extraction of the petroleum does not causes any environmental problems, but its excessive use is causing some major environmental problems like the global warming, air pollution. The second one, the petroleum is used all over the world primarily for the transportations. A large number of useful products are also made by using the various fractions obtained from the refining of the petroleum. The rate at which we are using the petroleum, the day is not too far when all the petroleum reserve may become depleted, and it will result in energy crisis. And the coal mining is reported to cause some major environmental problem. The methane, which is the greenhouse gas. So remember, the methane is one of the greenhouse gas and is released during the coal mining, and it may also get mixture with the groundwater and causing the water pollution. Okay, and the coal dust is also harmful for the humans, and it may cause the various respiratory problems. The major consequence of its overuse is that it will be finished in next 100 years because we have limited reserve of coal. So these are the bad effect of over-extraction of coal and petroleum. Conservations of the fossil fuels. How to conserve this fossil fuel for our futures? So we should use the renewable sources of energy like wind energy, solar energy, hydrogen to fulfill our energy needed, and the renewable sources of energy cause no pollutions are unlimited. Second one, the energy should be generated from biomass. Third one, the petrol, diesel can be shaped by using the fuel efficient vehicles and the machines, by driving the vehicles at a moderate speed, and by switching off the engine of vehicles at the red lights, by ensuring the correct tire pressure, and by regular maintenance of the vehicles. Using the carpool is a good way to reduce consumption of the fuels like petrols and diesel. And the use of the public transport instead of the personal vehicles is also one of the best ways to reduce the consumption of fossil fuels. And the last one, walking down to nearby place instead of going by vehicles also help to save fuel. So these are the way to conserve our fossil fuels for our futures. That's all for the today's lecture. Thank you everybody.